Well, just a short weather vane update. Here we are. We've actually got... I've got to move it to get the light on it, look. It's a dog with a fox's tail. And it's taken me quite a long time, about an hour with breaks for 2 afternoons. Because it's, you can probably see, I've shown you before, it's quite thick, see, and it's stainless, blooming tough, I tell you. Anyway, I got that done, and I have to say I'm a little impressed with myself with that. Anyway, I've got that sheet to draw the letters on, and I didn't have a pen to do it, so I've got a pen that actually writes on that shiny metal now to cut the others out. So rather than just bore you showing me cutting the letters out, you've got an update, haven't you? There we go. Now my friends asked me for more stories, and someone in the comments said, what about girls? Well, yeah, right, I'll sit here. That'll have to do, won't it? Girls, when I was young, I was very naive and very shy. But I only liked the best. And so, there was a girl at school, and she was gorgeous. We'll call her Pamela. That wasn't a name, obviously, but we'll call her Pamela. Well, I fell in love with this girl. Hopelessly in love with her. Didn't talk to her, didn't do anything at all. For a year. And anyway, they had an end of term dance. And I was 16 at this time. I was about to leave school. So I asked her for a dance and she accepted. Couldn't believe me, look. So I had a dance and I walked her home and kissed her goodnight. But as I said, I was very shy and very naive. Now, she actually wasn't. She was 14 at that time. But, as I say, I only liked the best. So I took her out once more, but I wouldn't really do anything because I was too shy. And so, she dumped me for my mate. Well, I say I only want the best. And I had a few years, 3 years actually, when I never went near another girl. I was just lovesick all that time. And I was 19 before I even kissed another girl. But you see, you don't miss out. So that's my first girlfriend, and that lasted for quite a long time. And there's not been many. Well then, I had 1 or 2 girlfriends. I can't remember who or why or when, but one went out with me and she liked me and stayed with me at a dance, I remember. And then we had girls that we saw but weren't girlfriends because we went to the Court School dancing, which was ballroom dancing at Lincoln. And that's where I met Janet that became my wife. And we'll pass on that bit. That is her name, by the way. She said I was what I wanted, and then a few years later she said I wasn't, so that was that. Anyway, so there was 1 or 2, as I say, and then when I was in my early 30s, I met my soulmate, which we'll call Susan. That wasn't a name either, and we had 8 happy years together. When something I can't really mention because, well, you won't believe me in that, but someone took her and it took her 37 years to get away from him. That was that. Meanwhile, I did have 1 other woman friend that phoned me up one night and said, "Oh, is that Malcolm?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Oh, it's Jacqueline." Again, that wasn't her name. And she said, "I hear you're looking for a relationship. Where do you live?" 2 minutes later, the doorbell rang. So I thought, well, I need a friend. So I went with her, and we'll pass on this story, on Jacqueline's story, because it involves someone I know and it's not that nice. So she was with me for a while, and that worked because she lived in a local flat, and she stayed from Friday night till Monday morning, and I think she came Wednesday night, you know. So that was really it. You know, there's not been many at all. But the thing is, as I said, there was a woman in the street, and I was talking to her. She was married, and we got on well. We met through CB of all things, and we got on well. And I was 35, I keep saying it. And she said, well, women fancy you. I said, yeah, she fancied you. Women fancy you, because there was a young girl in the street used to come here because I had young boys come here. And the girls came to see the boys, and then they started coming regularly because it was somewhere to go, and they could, well, you know, the usual thing that young girls do. So that's the story. There's not been many at all. And but as I said, there's one or two others that were friendly, but they can get you in trouble. Right, I used to go to the boat club. I used to walk down to the boat club. This is a long while ago. I'm walking home because then the pubs shut at 11 o'clock. And so, as the pubs were emptying, just being sociable, nothing else at all, I would just have a chat to people coming out the pub. And as I say, I was quite a bit older than them. Anyway, there was one or two that did like me, I have to admit. But I'll tell you a story about the best one. There was one or two, as I say, and they dug me. Anyway, I met this girl, and we got an her mate ran past and grabbed me cap. You've seen that flat cap? Well, I used to wear that. And she ran past and grabbed me cap. And ran off with it, just to laugh. And she had a mate with her. And her mate was sat on the pavement, and someone, oh, so-and-so called me fat. And I was looking, and I looked at her like that. I just looked at her like that, and I says, well, you're not fat, what are they talking about? Well, her friend liked me. So we walked home the long way round, hand in hand. Well, I was obviously very pleased with this. And we were walking down the hill near me when she said, oh, it's my boyfriend, I better go. Oh dear. I came close to having a smack in the mouth that night, through no fault of my own at all. And it's happened a few times. You know, things like that have happened a few times. So I've let them come to me when they wanted to, and as I said, there's not been many. You can probably count them up on, what, one hand, 1.5 hands, I don't know. Not many. So there we are. That's the story of females. Hope you've enjoyed it and my little update again. And my friend's asking me for videos, so we're trying to oblige. Let me know what you think. In a bit.